yeah, it'll do like an intro and everything.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, this is the intro right here. Hi, everybody. We were just talking about how in 2016 I'm going to make this a much more professional operation. So this will be the last sort of slipshod, improvised hangout. From now on, it's going to be very rigidly timed and scripted and formatted from now on. Welcome to my monthly Patreon hangout. I'm joined by two of my Patreon patrons. So far, anybody else who's watching who's a patron who wants to come on in, plenty of room. But David Edwards is with me, and Christy Winters joining us again after a long and lamentable absence from the Patreon hangout. So thank you for joining me, you guys. Hope you guys had a good Christmas. I know you kind of did because we already talked about it a little. But for the viewers at home, so thanks for joining me, guys.
Yeah, it's always great to be here, and I'm sorry my schedule is sometimes conflicts to where I can't be here as often as I would like.
Yeah. Well, and you do your own Patreon stuff now, too. You're moving up in the world.
I am. I'll be having mine on New Year's Eve because I despise New Year's Eve. I don't really like New Year's Eve. I mean, I do more now that I'm in Cologne because they make it a lot of fun. But I always like waiting around till midnight. Usually the party starts anywhere between 8 and 9. You stay around for 4 hours just waiting for this countdown, and then it's 10 seconds, it's over. And then you go like, how long do I have to stay respectably after New Year's before I can go home and go to bed?
Wow, you sound just like me.
No, I'm an oldster. I'm asleep by that time.
Yeah, see, that sounds like me too, though. I haven't been able to do it for like the last maybe 15 years or so, but I swear to you, my perfect New Year's Eve is to go to bed at 11 o'clock.
Right.
Like to just like I'll go to bed before midnight. I'll wake up and it'll be the next year. You know, I'm not, and whenever I do go to a New Year's Eve party, it's exactly like you just said, Christy. It's like, oh, it's midnight. Okay, now how long do we have to hang around?
Yes. My best New Year's Eve was as a child. I must have been under the age of 12 because it was at a house we lived in before we moved, and the babysitter, contrary to Mom's instructions, allowed me to stay up past midnight. And then after midnight, the movie that they played was Some Like It Hot.
Oh, wow.
And it was the first time that I saw Some Like It Hot, and I thought it was fantastic. And when my mom got home and got in, she was saying, oh, what are you still doing up? I'm like, I got to stay up past midnight. But what really stuck out in my mind was I was probably 9 or 10 watching Some Like It Hot, and it was, like when I saw it later as a grown-up, it was just as funny.
Yeah, that is a great movie. That is one of my favorite movies. We watched it. I think I had seen it before, but we watched it as part of a film class I took when I was in college, and it was, it's just a fantastic movie.
The best New Year's ever. Staying up late past because a babysitter let you be naughty, and getting to watch Marilyn Monroe and Tony Curtis. And
man. It's
great.
Yeah,
we used to
peaked
do
at 9.
Junk food jamboree. Which I would, every New Year's I would go out and take about $50 and just buy the worst junk you could think of. And invite all my friends over, so it was long before midnight. They would just come over, snack a little bit on some junk, and then go their merry way. So all the stuff I couldn't eat during the year, I would just have it then. So that was a lot of fun.
Hey, Matthew.
Hey, Matt.
Hey, how's everyone?
Good. How are you?
All right, just spent 10 minutes trying to get into the hangout, but otherwise, okay.
I saw you popping in and out there. I was like, I hope he makes it.
We got you in the end, though.
Yes, that's good.
Yes.
What did I miss?
Well, we were just talking about how we spent the holidays, and we were talking a little bit about New Year's. So, did you have a good Christmas?
It was good. It was quiet. Definitely the opposite of what Thanksgiving was for me.
Yeah. Well, good. Good.
Yes. What about you?
I had it seems like we've all had nice, quiet holidays, and that's how we like it. So maybe that's why we get along.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why we gravitate to each other. I just like a nice, quiet time.
Mm-hmm.
We actually, because my dad is visiting me, he came over to Germany for 8 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
This day, because he's sort of his job. He has a small business. He works sort of part of the year and then is off during the winter. And we, well, my flat here is really small. I don't have an oven, so we can't do like a traditional turkey or anything or ham. So we had sloppy joes on Christmas Eve and pan-fried steak on Christmas Day. And we didn't even bother with the gift exchange. What we're going to do is, so he's living here rent-free for 8 weeks, so he got us a trip. We're going to be going to Tenerife for 10 days at the end of January when it's really cheap to travel. It's a very inexpensive package to go there compared to other times of the year, but it'll be, I don't know, 75 degrees because it's south of Spain and on your way to Africa. It's a part of the Canary Islands. And I said that my gift to him would be that I would make a little documentary video about his trip to the Canary Islands and produce it and then put it up on YouTube so he could show it to his friends. And so we didn't actually do anything. We had no presents to buy, well, online, he did his, and presents to wrap or anything. We just basically sat around and waited to eat and, yeah, watched My Kitchen Rules, which is an Australian TV show that I totally legally stream. Yeah, we're like into cooking competitions and things like that. So we're sharing My Kitchen Rules and planning our trip to Tenerife. So that was awesome. It. Yeah.
That sounds great.
Well, he's still, young and healthy enough, and I'm still young and healthy enough for us to do these things. We want to get out and do them.
What's the weather been like where you are, Christy? Around?
Warm. Yeah? Warm. Crazy warm. Like today I went out with just a zip-up jumper, and we went out to have brunch and literally like not even a winter coat. It was probably converting it about 50, 55 degrees here.
That's how it's been here, too.
Well, it was about 75 on Christmas Day here in D.C., so I don't know how it was.
Yeah, me and Matthew live in the same region.
It was almost 80 degrees here.
Yeah.
We had 32 degrees one week and 80 degrees the next.
Yeah, that's how it was here. I mean, it's been a while since we got down in the 30s. It's been a couple weeks, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been unseasonably warm, like all month. And on Christmas Eve morning, Ashley and I always go out to breakfast with her parents and her grandmother and her sister and her sister's husband. And last year when we did it, there was snow on the ground, and it was icy and like wintry. And this year it was we go out in the morning. We meet at the restaurant at like 8:30, and it's like a spring morning. And my father-in-law, who is a wonderful guy and who I respect and love very much, I don't want to disparage him, but he's not exactly on board with the whole climate change thing. And he said, well, you're going to have these days every once in a while, I guess. Well, yeah, I guess. It's just unseasonable warmth, I suppose.
Yeah, it's just unseasonably warm year after year, and the climate's getting more extreme, and it seems like it's changing. What would you call something like that?
It seems like it's changing.
I still remember when I was in middle school and high school having snow on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, me too.
I grew up not too far from you, Steve, so it was the same climate area. So what happened to snow on Thanksgiving? The joke in Pennsylvania is that Halloween costumes have to be made to fit over a snowsuit.
Yeah, Halloween used to be cold. I remember many, because we used to do at my elementary school, we would always do a Halloween parade where everybody would show up in costume on the designated day, whatever it was. It was usually like before Halloween. And we'd have a parade around the school outside, and like parents could show up and take pictures of everybody in their costumes. And there were many days when it was freezing, because I would always dress up as like a superhero or something. So I'd be like in my little tights as Batman or Superman, freezing my ass off, because Halloween used to be a cold weather day, and now it seems like, the last few years, at least as far as I've noticed, I mean, it might be a little crisp, but it's not nearly what it used to be.
Did you see? Go ahead.
We're not in a senior. Yeah, we're not like seniors in a home for the assisted living. We're remembering way back oldie times when I was a kid. I mean, this is 25 years ago, 30 years ago, and in our lifetimes we're seeing this change. It's just shocking.
Yeah. Somebody's posted a weather map of Texas today, and they're having flash flood warnings, hurricane warnings, and cold weather watches and a blizzard warning in the same state.
They had a massive tornado yesterday over.
Oh yeah! Are you serious?
Yeah. It was all over the news.
Yeah, I saw that Aaron Ra posted on Facebook that he and his family had to take shelter. They were afraid they were going to get hit with a tornado.
Oh God!
Where they're in Texas. Yeah, I think that they're okay. Everybody's fine, but yeah, they had to get out of Dodge.
Yeah, BBC News headline says 11 killed in Dallas area.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's it.
And here I am in Oklahoma thinking, did my brother bring back Portland weather when he flew back?
Yeah, the weather is just insane.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's climate change for you. It just fucks up the ecosystem like crazy.
Yeah. It's I mean, as far as I understand it, and I guess maybe some people don't really grasp this. And I mean, I'm not a climatologist, so I don't grasp it fully either. But
Yeah,
this kind of weather, you don't want to say that this is proof, but you want to say that this is consistent.
Yeah,
These sorts of things are what we would expect given the reality of climate change, because it is a long-term trend. So you wouldn't want to look at unseasonable warmth on a particular day or even a particular year and
True.
say, aha, this proves climate change. But you say, okay, assuming that climate change is a valid model, this is exactly the sort of thing that we would expect to see.
Right, and that's what you do with a theory, is you want to see if you have an observation that falsifies it, and the fact that the 10 hottest years have been in the last 10 years is an observation that is consistent with the theory that the climate is changing. So you can't. It's up to climate change deniers to present evidence that refutes the theory, not just say, no.
Yeah,
well,
but
that would involve utilizing critical thought.
As opposed to bringing snowballs into the Capitol.
Somebody posted, I think somebody tweeted it, and that was Senator Inhofe who did that. Somebody tweeted at him and said, "Hey, he said, and someone tweeted at him and said, Senator Inhofe, that demonstration you did about, with the snowball in Congress to disprove climate change, that was a really, really powerful demonstration. Could you do that again this year?"
On behalf of my fellow Oklahomans, I want to apologize so sincerely. We don't know how we keep electing this guy.
We all have those. Don't worry.
Ron Johnston from Wisconsin. He's I'm Paul Ryan and Reince Priebus. I have a lot of Republican shame to carry from my home state. So
Scott Walker.
Scott Walker. Yeah.
Don't you?
Maryland does a pretty good job of keeping ours in house. Like we don't send the really crazy ones to Congress, but within our governor right now is Larry Hogan, who is a Republican, who is not as bad as you might fear. I mean, he's not like an arch conservative type of guy, but I mean, he didn't fill us with optimism when as soon as he took office, he started to try and walk back protections that had been established for LGBT people, and he sort of put the brakes on a lot of things that had been started under the previous administration that a lot of us were really happy about. He was kind of like, okay, let's see, these are laws that were passed, so I can't exactly undo this, but let's see if I can slow down the whole progress thing. Yeah,
let's see if we can slow down equality under the law.
Yeah.
It's not very American, equality under the law.
Yeah, who wants equality under the law?
That's for chumps.
That's for chumps, exactly.
That's socialism. That's communism.
Competition is good. And you know what? And if you have to compete with each other for your basic human rights, that's all the better, right?
Yeah, because then you get the really good rights coming out at the top. The people who really deserve those rights are going to get them.
No.
You get the best rights.
Did someone just describe trickle-down rights? Is that what I just heard?
Trickle-down right.
Trickle-down civil liberties. That's the way of the future.
I think we have a new Trump agenda here. I think we have the new Trump agenda we've just come up with.
Nobody share this with him. If anybody's watching, please don't share this video with Trump.
What are you talking about? This is the greatest idea we've ever come up with.
It's huge! It's huge!
They're going to compete with each other for their civil rights. It's going to be huge.
It'll be the best rights. The best people will come out on top.
It's kind of scary that the battle for the presidency of the United States may just come down to two people from Brooklyn.
Yeah. Yeah, really. I mean...
That's a New York... That's a rumble in the Bronx right there. You didn't even need to bring Jackie Chan into it.
That's funny. That's funny. I mean, I think we talked about this before, but I mean, the contrast between the two parties in the primaries this year is just shocking. I mean, I don't think it's ever been as clear cut. I mean, I remember the last time around, people were talking about like the Republican clown car and how they
we thought it was bad then.
But now it's like that's all they have. Like who's the serious guy? I mean, at least I was never going to vote for Romney. I would never have voted for Romney in a million years. But at least you know, you can put him up behind a lectern on a stage, and he looks like a decent person. I mean, who are the guys on the Republic? If you're a serious conservative Republican person, like, who do you vote for that's not a complete clown? It's mind-boggling.
I feel so bad for the people like Colin Powell right now who are stuck with this.
Yeah.
I mean, they must be looking at this and going, "This is who we have to vote for."
Well,
we are gonna get so hammered.
Well, and Colin Powell is sort of doing that thing where he's not really an active participant anymore. He's kind of staying on the sidelines, but every once in a while he'll poke his head up and be like, climate change is kind of real, though. Gay equality is kind of okay. Like, can we maybe just not talk about this so much? Just trying to be the voice of reason.
When you get the base, I think what the big thing that I see, and I see this in the media too, where they conflate Republican primary voters and they'll say Americans, this is what the American people want. This is a very small segment. And in a recent show on my channel, I looked at a Vox article, a little plug for my stuff, that they showed how much people were spending. And they showed by Trump and Carson and all the way down. And what I pointed out about the spending relative to where you are in the polls is that if you want to look at who's spending money, it's Jeb Bush, it's Marco Rubio, it's and John Kasich are spending way more than the non-establishment, or even call them anti-establishment candidates, and they're seeing nothing for their money. So in a lot of ways, the candidates who are succeeding is due to the kind of voters that the GOP has cultivated over the last 20 years, and now they finally have a candidate or a few candidates that really tap into the anger and mistrust and fear and suspicion and othering that the party's been doing on Fox all the time, and now basically the Frankenstein is the monster is turning on the doctor in this case.
That's a great way to put it.
Actually, I'm kind of curious too, Christy. I've been wanting to wonder, what is your opinion about the sort of what's been going on the Democratic side of things? Because I know there's been a sort of similar resurgence of sort of like the progressive base with the rise of Bernie Sanders, and I wanted to see what your perspective on it was.
Yeah, I sort of famously repeatedly on my channel saying I have a horse in the race, and so I guess I'll declare this first, and you can use that to moderate or mediate my opinions. But I decided a year ago that I was going to be supporting Hillary because I think she's the most qualified candidate. And at the end of the day, I'm a pragmatist. I'm kind of like if you watch Joe Scarborough on MSNBC saying, I want to win. I'm a Republican and I like to win. And I'm also in the same vein. I would rather see a more moderate or centrist Democrat in the White House than to be an ideologue and support a candidate that I agree with totally. But I have pretty serious concerns about Bernie's ability to maintain a message or maintain message control if he doesn't have super PACs behind him. And I understand this is why people don't like super PACs, but I also understand don't hate the player, hate the game. So I think in terms of the states where he's doing well, they tend to be they're highly white populations, and so he's doing well in Iowa, he's doing well in New Hampshire, but he's got some room, he's got a lot to prove in terms of non-white voters. And I think Hillary Clinton has a more solid national campaign that can compete every single state, and she has the money, the machinery, the momentum, hopefully, and the message to win independent voters. And ultimately, that's where elections are decided, is on those independent voters. So, I mean, I know that he's got a small donor support, which is great, and he's got a lot of fans who are quite enthusiastic behind him. Yeah, and I understand this. Like, I get it. I have most of the people I know are supporting Bernie Sanders, and and I understand why you're voting with your heart, and I totally get that. But I've been in too many elections now. I'm too old and jaded.
I totally get that.
Yeah, and so, I mean, if he's the nominee, I will get behind him and I will support him just as because I supported Hillary last time, and I currently defend our president, and I support our president, and I supported him the second time. So whoever our nominee is, again, pragmatist, I will get behind our nominee. But I'm worried about the idea, what Republicans are going to do when they're saying you're going to vote for a socialist. Because I do think that that's just right up there with atheist in terms of what the average person who's not engaged with politics will react to negatively, and that might determine. Now, if he's up against Trump, I think he's got a much better chance. But I think in the long game, I think Hillary is more prepared for the long game of the primary than Bernie is. So
I'm terrified though of a debate between fucking Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. I can't see anything productive coming from that. In those debates.
Well, I think Hillary could handle him. I just think Trump would be even more of a shit-flinging monkey than he usually is. I mean,
Yes.
I actually I feel the same way about it that Christie does. I mean, my heart tells me vote for Bernie.
Yeah,
You know,
feel
like
the burn.
my heart tells me this is your guy. He agrees with you on everything.
Heartburn.
Yeah, but my head is like, do you want to win or don't you? And this is really the first election that I can remember where I have felt that way, where I have felt that pressure of pragmatism, you know, because in the past I've always been like, you know what, vote for whoever you want. Like, and ideally that's what you should do. You should vote, especially in the primary, you should vote for the person that you honestly think would be the best person, you know. And it's unfortunate that sometimes we feel the need to sort of strategize and be like, yeah, but well, you know, if we nominate him, but how's he going to do in the general? Like, you have to do all that calculus to figure out, and it's unfortunate that you have to do that. But this is the first time where I felt like that, where I felt, man, Hillary is as close to a sure thing as we have, and I don't want to say she's a sure thing because then that would discourage people from voting. You don't want to say, oh, we'll nominate Hillary and then it'll take care of itself. No. You still have to go out and campaign and work and get this done, but and go vote, most importantly. But you know, I think Hillary is a really good match for anybody that the Republicans could nominate, and Bernie. I think Bernie, like Christie said, I think Bernie would do very well against someone like Trump.
Or another hard right Republican candidate.
But someone like Rubio, I don't know. I mean, I think Rubio is kind of an empty suit myself, but I also think that he could very easily be rehabilitated by a good campaign to be made to look like a really strong candidate. And I don't know how that election would turn out.
But funny you mentioned that, though, because you were saying the same thing about Ted Cruz about 4 months ago.
That's true. I was. Yeah, that's true.
Of course, everyone. In fact, they're trying to right now. It sounds like they're trying to pair Ted Cruz as the last great hope of the Republican Party. How scary is that? The guy who single-handedly ruined the reputation of the Republican Congress.
And the guy who none of the other Republicans like him.
No one likes him.
Nobody who works with him likes him.
On my channel, I predicted a Trump Cruz ticket.
Oh yeah.
So if no one likes him, how is he going to do at the White House? How is he going to do dealing with the people on the Hill if both sides don't like him?
Well, if you don't do what I want, then guess what? You don't get money.
Hey, presidents don't get to filibuster, Ted.
I will make it happen.
Tell that to Andrew Jackson.
Tell that to Andrew Jackson. What the hell do you mean? You invite me to talk, I'm going to talk as long as I want.
Yeah, the State of the Union that goes on for 3 days.
Yeah.
I've got a question.
Please, never again.
Does anyone think that the emotionality, not necessarily the ideology, but the emotionality that is going on with Bernie now is similar to Ron Paul's campaign last time around?
I don't know. I think Bernie's supporters are a bit more organized because I'm in here in Oklahoma State, we have the only two who have volunteer organizations set up is Bernie Sanders and Rand Paul. And to my knowledge, I have not seen a single Rand Paul table this entire semester.
Well, remember, I'm talking about Ron in the last election.
Ron Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see where people could draw the parallels. No Lord would probably have a better say about that kind of thing and about how to draw the parallels between the two.
I think Bernie has a much better message than Ron Paul because Ron was very narrow and very libertarian, whereas Bernie's is very much directed at working families and middle class. I mean, if there is a middle class, I think there's just a working class now and a wealthy class in the United States. So I think we need to stop using middle class because there aren't any middle class people left.
Yeah, that actually I would agree with that assessment.
And I think Bernie has a much more realistic shot of getting the nomination. I don't think Ron Paul ever was going to get anywhere close to
Well, he was
nomination.
also in the Republican clown car, so
yeah,
no one can.
That's true. That's true. I mean, one of the things that works to the advantage of both Hillary and Bernie is that, you know, the Democrats have a much narrower field. And I mean, my former state governor Martin O'Malley. I mean, I don't, you know, he's running for vice president. I mean,
this is my opinion.
Yeah, I still think no matter who gets the nomination, probably Hillary, but if no matter whether it's Hillary or Bernie who gets the nomination, I would genuinely be surprised if they don't pick O'Malley to be their VP.
Just please, O'Malley, please stop name dropping your website in the middle of debates. Jesus.
I love O'Malley in those debates because he's so earnest. You know,
to me he reads like an infomercial.
But he's painfully earnest. He's like, we have problems in this country, and if we don't get serious and stop these silly bickering arguments, and it's like, okay, he's like Will Forte, that character Will Forte used to do a Weekend Update. You know, I'm running for president of America. I mean, that's the vibe I get from him.
But was he any different as
governor? Freaking charisma of cement salesman.
Yeah.
Was he like that as governor as well? I think that's the question.
Well, I mean, Matthew was Matthew's governor too, so
yeah.
I don't remember him being that, like, you know, over the top heartfelt. I mean, it seems like every time he's in those debates, it's almost like he's going to start crying. You know, he's just so like, you know.
Well, we now found our John Boehner, I guess.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but Boehner. I mean, John Boehner's like, hey, John, you want something for breakfast? Oh, God.
I love
Boehner dissolves in tears.
Well, to be fair to him, he had to deal with the most rebellious Congress of all time. So, like, if I were in his position, I probably would start crying too.
I did a graphic of him when I did a 5 Stupid Things segment about him when he announced his resignation, and I did the side-by-side comparison of the day he got the job when he was crying, and then the day he announced he was leaving where he was like. That tells you the story right there.
Oh man, I can't imagine how much of a relief that was.
Well,
talk about having senioritis.
At that point, he said, "Nancy, I regret everything I ever said about you."
The dude was literally singing Zippity Doo Dah when he walked into the press conference that day. I mean, he was like so out of there. He was like. Take this job and shove it.
Yeah, I think the Pope came and he realized, all right, this is my YOLO. It's not going to get better than this. I'm out of here.
Yes.
I'm done. I'm done.
Exactly.
Oh, hey, Lauren's here.
Hey, Lauren made it.
Yeah, didn't realize you guys are starting an hour early until I finally actually read the stupid message. So.
Yeah,
Same here.
I have obligations this
afternoon. You have a life.
Obligations?
I have a life, you guys. Actually, you know what?
What's a life? Come on.
You want me? Do you want to know what the obligation is? You want to know what it is?
Yes, we do.
If you're up for that, sure.
Is it episode 7?
I'm going. Yeah, it is actually. I'm going to see it. I'm going to DC to meet my friend Stephanie Guttormson, who I believe is watching right now. Hi, Steph. And we're going to go see Star Wars, and it'll be the second time for both of us. So.
I have not seen it myself yet. I'm hoping to see it fairly shortly.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I do want to throw in a quick plug for Spotlight. I thought it was brilliant.
Oh. I really want to see that. I really want to see that.
Absolutely go. What impressed me more than anything is that it doesn't come across as drama. It doesn't come across as overplayed or underplayed. It is so straight from the shoulder. It is scary. I mean, people compare it with All the President's Men, and it may actually be better.
Wow. Yeah, I really want to see it. I mean, it's nice to. For me, it's nice to see. Michael Keaton back in serious movies again. You know, it's nice to see after like Birdman and the Oscar nomination.
You will like him a lot, and I'll tell you what. I don't know which is the more surprising performance, his or Mark Ruffalo's. Ruffalo is more animated, and Keaton is way more, you know.
Subdued.
Subdued is a good word. He's more interior. He's. Well, I'll let you see it because it's really, really brilliant.
He is a really wonderfully understated actor.
Or he can be.
I mean, he can be. Yeah, he not always, but I mean, in the performances of his that I've liked the best, it's, you know, he's very interior and very well. Like I really liked him he had a supporting role in in Jackie Brown that I thought was fantastic, where he wasn't in the movie a whole lot. He was a supporting character, but very low key, very sort of internal, and just I mean, so people who only know Michael Keaton, for his earlier stuff when he was doing more comedies or as Batman. I mean, he really has chops as a serious actor, and it's really nice to see him getting back to that now in the last couple of years.
I believe there's some trivia around his performance in that movie because he plays the FBI agent in and then he also in Jackie Brown as well. So I think he's the only person or one of the only characters who's shown up in 2 different movies playing the same character, playing that FBI agent. So that's a little bit of trivia that I sort of pulled out of my memory somewhere about Michael Keaton.
Yeah. I mean, I would be looking for excuses to put Michael Keaton in movies if I was making movies. I'd be like, I'd be reading scripts going, where's the Michael Keaton role?
Yeah, well, after Spotlight, I mean, this could be the reinvention of his career as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I mean, I know he's back sort of on the A-list now thanks to Birdman last year, and it's like I say, it's really nice to see. Like I hope he gets a little resurgence like Travolta got after Pulp Fiction, where he has a few good years where he's getting good roles again because he deserves it.
Well, the other thing is that I mean, it's also a case where you've got an ensemble. You've got McAdams, you got Slattery, you've got I'm trying to think of the Tucci as the lawyer. It's a real ensemble, bringing the pain sort of thing. They just absolutely nobody phones it in.
Yeah, the cast looks phenomenal. I think I was chatting with Jason Harding about it. Because we were talking, we record our podcasts on every other Sunday, and then we spend like an hour and a half recording the podcast, and then we spend like 2 hours just talking. And I think I brought up Spotlight and how I wanted to see it just purely because of the cast. I mean, the cast on paper is just fantastic. It's like I've got to see it. So.
Yeah, I saw the double toasted rating for it, and I think they rated it because it's made by the same guys who did the old Spill.com reviews, and they gave it the better than sex rating.
Wow. There's a newspaper. I think it's a San Francisco newspaper that rates movies with like a little guy in a chair.
Oh.
And depending on how it's different cartoons for each rating, and depending on how happy the guy is, that's the higher the rating. So like if there's a movie that they really like, the little guy in the chair is like, he's like on the edge of his seat and like he totally likes him.
Oh, that's really clever though.
I can't remember which paper it is exactly, but yeah, it's
Yeah, I suppose I'm more the traditional. I'd fall back on Rotten Tomatoes, which the last time you had it at either 95 or 96%, which ain't shabby.
No, not at all. Not at all. Ernest Saves Christmas is only like 33% on there, so
where's Plan 9 from Outer Space?
Out of curiosity, what is Episode 7 sitting at right now?
I don't know.
It's probably well up there.
I think it's got to be pretty high. The reviews have been pretty good. Even the bad reviews have said, well, it's pretty good.
Let's find out.
I'm of the opinion it's not a bad film. It's a fun film, but as a Star Wars story, I found it depressingly mediocre.
Really?
Yeah.
I've not seen it, so la 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 la.
Yeah, no spoilers.
No, I'm not going to spoil. I'm just going to say that this is from the perspective of somebody who's a fan of the old EU, so I got nicked for this movie, so I was hoping for something greater, and that didn't happen.
Yeah.
And I just checked, and Rotten Tomatoes has it at 94%, so once again.
Damn.
People loved it. I loved it. I thought it was great. I mean, I understand. I know that a lot of people who are fans of the expanded universe maybe felt a little, didn't like it because it doesn't really deal with any of that. It kind of just overwrites it. Well, says, no, we're going to do this.
It's more to the idea that, at least for me, it was more the fact that they mixed it, didn't really try and expand it in any direction that felt new or original.
Yeah.
Like a lot of it felt like rehashed from material that had been done before, and in some cases better. There is one aspect that is better, and I'm not going to spoil it because that's like the big spoiler of the movie.
Yeah.
Mark, here's
Yeah,
my question to someone who hasn't seen it, but does J.J. Abrams, he's the one who directed it, right? And
Yeah.
Jar
directed
Jar
it.
does not return.
Does he make the
Jar
Star
Jar.
Wars movie look like a Star Wars movie?
Oh, yeah.
It's a different. I mean, there's obviously a different direction style than Lucas, but it's
The
the way he sets up the shots are a lot different. But
the
it does
camera work
feel-
is a little different, but yeah, the look of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it looks a lot more like a Star Wars movie than I thought any of the prequels did.
Okay, that's
Visually,
the question.
visually, I mean, all I got are the trailers to go by, but just subtle little things. There's a couple of shots, like one with the ship going up from what I believe is Tatooine in the deep apron. It's just a soft shot. Just, I thought that was wonderfully artful, and you got it. I mean, this is an engineer talking about art,
yeah.
so. And the
And
other
lens
one
flares?
was
Are there a lot of lens flares?
No, I don't think there are any.
No, it wasn't any.
the other one. The other one I wanted to mention is the shot where I believe you've got an X-wing closing on a TIE fighter, and just the subtle little thing, like one of the shots wings the TIE fighter before it's destroyed. Just, it's little detail shit like that, but it shows, hey, this isn't a precision thing. Not every, on-target burst destroys the fighter at the first, just little stuff like that. It's, it's some attention to detail there, and I like that.
I'll say this.
Go ahead.
I'll say this though: the TIE fighters got a serious upgrade in the past 30 years.
I know, right? They're like Ferraris now. They
really got shield generators, missiles. Like what? Everyone, but they still build super weapons.
Yeah. Well, you gotta have something for the rebels to fight.
But
that's a
fleet.
Yeah.
One of my problems with the Dune universe is that you have this huge arc, and there doesn't appear to be any technology shift within this huge arc of the Dune universe. And to a certain degree, you see the same thing in Star Wars. I mean, where are the developments in technology? Yeah. And it sounded like maybe there
the helmet smaller.
That's one of the things I like about it, though. It gives it like that kind of a pulpy feel, because you have these weird juxtapositions in Star Wars where everybody flies in space. It's just an everyday sort of thing. Nobody thinks twice about going to another planet, and yet you also have people, who are like living as scavengers and eking out existences as farmers and living in villages and huts. Like you have this combination of an unimaginably high level of tech with the lowest tech, the most low-tech existence you could possibly imagine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a theme that came out of Firefly as well.
Yeah.
Of course, that was a result of the whole, the Parliament versus the Browncoats, and they're, banging their heads together, and the fact that some people want to live free of that kind of influence, and they pay the price for that. But and some people want to live with that affluence, but they pay a price for that too.
Well, but I mean, the thing about Firefly
privacy.
is, but it's a western. It's a western in space, and in some ways, Star Wars is a little bit of that too.
Yeah.
Part of the western is that living near the land, or that kind of the landscape of it, and.
I would say like this: the premise of Star Wars builds off from the western setting, and then evolves into grandiose space opera. I mean, that's sort of the arc of each of the Skywalkers, from Episode 1 to now, I suppose episodes, up through Episode 6. Episode 7 is kind of debatable right now.
When you had said space opera, I had that idea of in the closet rap opera, then suddenly everyone's singing.
Rap opera.
Was it R. Kelly?
Like Chirac?
Yeah, R. Kelly. No,
R. Kelly's trapped in the closet. Yeah, if you want space opera, trapped in the closet.
If you want singing, that thing that Jimmy Fallon did. Jimmy Fallon doing the Star Wars thing with cameos from. Yeah. I mean, Harrison Ford was in there. Carrie Fisher was in there.
Was Hamill there?
I don't think so, but I'd have to look at it again. But that was great fun. It was wonderfully well done. I have to. My hat's off to Fallon for that, because if he ramrodded that, he really accomplished something there, I think.
Yeah. That's what I really like about Jimmy Fallon's version of the Tonight Show is that it just seems like he just thinks of excuses for celebrities to come on and just hang out with him and just goof around. And there's something about that I find really appealing.
And he's so versatile. He's far more versatile than Johnny Carson was or Jay Leno. He sings
really
songs,
is.
he can tell
Way more than
jokes.
Jay Leno.
I
He
think
really is.
I think
It's a
you got
variety show, you know?
Yeah.
you got a hint of that with that thing that he did with the Muppets when they did The Wait. I thought
Yeah.
it was wonderful.
That was great. That was his last late night, right? Before
That
he went
was,
to
yes.
Tonight. Yeah, I loved that. I thought that was so well done. Yeah, that was one of the because it felt very artful. It felt like they really put some thought into making this and like a meaningful ending. And then he goes and starts his new show. I thought that was really well done. You can take little things like that. It's like who cares? He's ending one show and he's getting another show, and it's you shouldn't really feel anything for it, but yet he makes it into something that feels like something. There's that. Yeah.
It also gives you some idea of what he's bringing to the Tonight Show.
Yeah. And then also he does egg Russian roulette. I mean. He does these really intricate, well thought out, well written pieces, and then also he's like, "Hey, let's smash eggs on our heads."
He brought us lip sync battles, the Barber Quartet.
Yeah.
Jamie Foxx, I saw the segment where he came on and was doing sing-off. He was doing different styles, and he was phenomenal. Yeah, and just letting other artists you wouldn't expect show off different sides of themselves.
It was
really
him
great.
saying unsexy words sexily.
Yeah.
That was a great segment.
It's really. I mean, I enjoy it. He's great. I mean, I enjoy his show more than I enjoy Colbert's new show, and that's something because I'm a huge Stephen Colbert fan, and I really like what I've seen of his version of the Late Show so far.
Yeah,
but I mean, Fallon is just
knocks it out of the park.
I've tried to watch Colbert, and he just hasn't pulled me in yet. I mean, I'll try sampling him again, but I have to say, Fallon's getting it done.
Yeah, I think I just haven't gotten past Colbert's old show, which to me was just one of the most perfect things ever. And I mean, his new show is good, and he does throw in a little bit of the political commentary from that was typical of the old show, but
but there was a great segment that aired like within his first couple of weeks where he was comparing himself with his old show with Donald Trump, trying to figure out who said what.
Yeah, and some of his new recurring bits are good too. Like I love the bit where he sits on the grass with the celebrities and looks up at the stars and ponders the deep questions. Like he did one of those with Bryan Cranston that just killed me. It was so funny. I
haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah, it really, really was funny.
Yeah, but these guys are now competing with Bill Maher and John Oliver and Trevor Noah, and so there's like a lot of competition for good hosts who are quite entertaining.
Yeah. And Samantha
Bee
that in the park. John Oliver.
Hey, Mr. Rowdy.
What up, Mr. Shives? I can only stay for a little bit, but I did want to comment two things.
Yes.
I'm right outside a place where I'm about to grab sushi, but I've been waiting to get into one of these hangs forever. So I decided now was the moment. So I also wanted to say happy holidays to everybody, especially you, Mr. Shives.
Oh, yeah.
And the other thing I wanted to mention was, since you guys were talking about Star Wars, can we get over the fact that Harrison Ford hobbles when he runs anymore? Am I the only one who noticed that?
He's old.
Well, he also just planted his what was it? A Stearman biplane into the turf and somewhere in Southern California. I mean that couldn't have been much fun.
Well, my thought is just give the film back to Lucas, and he can digitize it over so it looks like
normal. Puking in my own mouth right now.
Just put Harrison Ford's head on a stunt double's body.
To be fair, it worked.
You can run around all you want.
Yeah, they did that with Garner and Lemon in that one comedy about the two presidents.
Oh yes,
and it was awful.
Yes,
I mean that was a world's worst effect.
Yes, I remember that.
But anyway, I'm not gonna. I'll give up my space because I know my reception's a little crappy, and if I were to talk inside the sushi bar, all you'd hear is the crappiest Chinese pop music of all time. So.
Well, thanks for stopping in, man. Happy holidays.
Oh, yeah. Steve, and check your Skype. I think I left you one or two messages. I don't know if it's the right Skype account, though.
Okay.
So,
It probably is. I just never check it.
Yeah, I'm not a Skyper either, but that's a topic for another day.
All right. Well, enjoy your sushi.
Very good. Take care,
Holidays.
everybody. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
My very close personal friend, Christopher Mowdy.
Ah.
Yeah.
That reminds me, I haven't looked very much at God. What's the name? What's the name of that outfit that they did? You've done at least 2 or 3 appearances with them. I'm complete. I want typically.
The New Covenant group.
New Covenant.
Yeah.
I have to see what they've been doing lately.
You were interviewed by Seth Andrews.
Yes, I was.
I knew he was one of your heroes, so I wanted to ask how was it?
It was so cool. It was so cool.
I heard an crush in your voice.
Well, you know what was awesome? Here's the story behind that. Because that wasn't like anything that was planned.
It was?
We were both. Yeah, I barged into the room and I said, "Andrews, you're gonna make a video with me." Howard meekly, as is his way. And no, what happened was I went to the Atheist conference in Harrisburg in September largely because he was there. He was one of the speakers, and Aaron was there, and Matt Dillahunty was there. It was like, holy shit, you know. And this is like an hour away. I have to go to this. So me and my friend Doc and our buddy Sean, we all got together and we went and stayed at the hotel for the whole weekend. And Seth and I had talked, you know, just chatted here and there over the weekend. And then as we were literally leaving the hotel. We had checked out. We were on our way to the car. And Seth gets in the elevator with us, and I was just like, oh, you know, hey, good morning, you know, nice to see you this weekend. And he said, are you guys leaving? And I said, yeah, we're gonna head out, you know, before it gets too busy, whatever. And he said, oh, I should have interviewed you, because he was interviewing people. You know, he interviewed Muhammad Syed, and he interviewed Mandisa Thomas, I think, and he had his camera set up in the VIP room, and he said, I should have interviewed you. And I said, well, we could do it now, you know. And so I went over to my buddies and I said, hey, do you mind if we don't leave for like an hour? And, you know, because Seth Andrews wants to interview me. And they were like, can we watch? And I was like, sure. So that's how that interview happened. And it was really like, it was completely spontaneous. We didn't really go over what we were going to talk about beforehand. It was mostly stuff that he and I had talked about already, like, you know. So it was a really, and I think the video came out really good.
Yeah.
You know, so
I mean, I know I got a hit on my channel. Suddenly I was like, my interview with you, Steve Shives, and New Atheism is suddenly getting all these views. I'm like, what the hell is going on? So like, type in Steve Shives and see what's going on, and then I saw his video and all of the controversy.
Is it people?
It's such a non-controversy though. Like, oh no, people are interviewing people.
So I can sum it up. I can sum it up very simply. Butthurt MRMs.
Yeah, that's about 99% of it.
Yeah, I was really disappointed in like Armored Skeptic and Thunderfoot when they began throwing their freaking temper tantrum over something that seems like such a non-issue.
Well, that's
you know what it is? It's down to money. It's down to money and clicks, and they're putting out fodder, cheap fodder that they can churn out just to cash in on people's hate, and they're promoting it. So
what happened to
there are, I mean, that's why when I did my video a couple months ago about atheism and feminism, and I had a list of channels at the end of it that I thought were good channels, I made the point that, you know, not all of these are outspoken feminist channels. You know, a lot of these channels are guys and women who talk about atheism for the most part, but they somehow manage to do it without being misogynistic douchebags. It's weird how you can talk about it. No, actually, I don't know. Because I don't think anybody who I listed has turned out to be, you know, like a horrible person. But then again, I haven't really been paying attention.
Fair enough.
Of course, because you have a life.
Yeah, well, see, I mean, that's the other thing is I get the impression that some of the people who make videos to troll me are under the impression that I spend a lot of time on it. And, I mean, I do 5 videos a week for my channel.
Yeah, like,
I'm busy. Like, I got shit to do.
And hopefully you have a life besides that.
Yeah, exactly.
Not in the same. I'm a little bit in the same position, in that someone will go, "Oh, someone made a response." I'm like, to your video. I'm like, well, good for them. But I've got videos that I haven't made, and just because you've made a video response where all you do is mock me and you don't really do any research and you just sit up there and spew your opinion for 20 minutes. One, I'm not obligated to watch it just because you've made a response. And two, I'm certainly not obligated to respond to your shitty response.
Yeah.
No,
well,
and here's the terrible thing. Most of them can't own up to the fact that it's just their opinion. Like, if they were at least that honest, at least then, okay, we can have a conversation.
Well, and the other thing is, I mean, there are people who say, you should debate so-and-so.
No.
And they always want to debate, and usually with me, it's usually about feminism. They say you should debate so-and-so about feminism. And
nobody that wants to debate you about Christianity, about religion anymore, because you read so much.
Here's the thing. I'm not an expert on feminism. I'm not like the best well-read person on feminism.
No,
I'm a supporter of it. Well, that's what I'm getting to. If you know less about feminism than I do, and everybody who calls me out on it does, by the way. There's nobody who has called me out on feminism who demonstrates as much knowledge about it that I have. And I am far from an expert. I am a dilettante at best when it comes to feminism. And they all know less about it than I do. So what are we going to debate about? I mean, if someone actually demonstrates a level of knowledge on the subject and wants to debate over something I've said or some view I have, and they say, well, I think you're on the wrong track with this, like, I think that's terrific. I would love to do that, But if you demonstrate that you have no idea what you're talking about, or even I, a lightweight, can tell that you're full of shit, what is my motivation for debating you?
Yeah. Well, it's like when I see the Atheist Gamer. It's just.
Yeah. See, I don't even. And I like Christy said. I mean, and when people make response videos to me, unless someone whose opinion I really respect contacts me and says you should watch this one, I never watch them because it's a waste of my time.
Yeah, I've made videos where I say this is, like I did 5 questions every Christian should answer, and I said, if you make a response, I'm inviting responses, so link it. But if I just make a video that I'm putting out there, I'm not inviting a response. I don't feel an obligation to watch it.
You can make a response.
And the second you invite a response, especially under this kind of thing, you're inviting a shitstorm. And again, I'm going to say this until it sinks in. Life is too short, and that's coming from somebody who just turned 65. So, hi.
That's my philosophy as well. I think I might even have said that in response to this topic. I mean, if you make a response video to a video of mine, and let's say I make a 5-minute video and you make a 45-minute response to it,
like Keel Deer.
Well, he's not the only one. Lots of people have. I mean, you have every right to do that. I welcome that. Go for it. But don't ever expect me to watch it, because life is too short. I have my own shit to do. I have my own life outside of YouTube to live. I have work on my YouTube channel that means a lot to me, that requires a lot of effort, and that I really enjoy doing, and I would just rather do that.
You mean I'm in content for myself.
Yeah. Steve, here's the other thing. You made the point beautifully. You make a 5-minute video, and somebody makes a 45-minute response.
Yeah.
I mean, can we say obsession, boys and girls? I mean,
do you think and it was made a year ago.
Don't you have your own content to come up with?
That's Christy. You just said something really important too. Like, what about your own content? What about making your own content? And
that is their content.
I know.
That's it.
Other people.
But like, do you think maybe you're taking the 5-minute video I made a little too closely to heart? I mean, that's another thing. It's like it's
not being taken to heart enough.
You're being like, everybody's entitled to disagree, right? I've watched videos from people that I've completely disagreed with, but I've never felt motivated to take the amount. Think of the amount of time it takes from your day to make a video like that. You have to watch the video you're responding to. You have to identify the points you want to respond to. You have to chop it up. You have to insert your own material. I mean, even if you're not actually writing your material, even if you're just going off the cuff, that's a huge time investment. And for what?
For me,
one extra step you added was.
Sorry, what were you?
For me, it's the conversation that I get a kick out of it. The ability to sort of sharpen and refine my ability to think and critique other people. is the, at least for me, that would be the gift. But for others, I can see why it'd be a total waste of fucking time.
What were you going to say, Brett?
Now that you've taken a bite
I waited. That was perfect. I said, what are you going to say, Brett, right as he took a bite? I'm sorry, man.
I'm sorry, too. I was saying the one extra step you added in there was them choosing which points they want to discuss and counter, because most of the time it's just, nuh-uh, which is their argument.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of creationist-like thinking and faith-based thinking and assertions that are not backed up by evidence. Or this happened to me, therefore I can generalize this out to all of society, kind of thing. Whereas, when I do a video, I actually do research.
Yeah, well, and also...
Yeah, but you're a pseudo-academic, so it doesn't count.
Yeah, right. You're not a real scientist. You're a
analysis with data and regressions. I'm only published, so I'm not a real academic.
Well, socials, I love how, I think I've said this before, too, how people on that side, especially like the anti-feminist, anti-social justice type of folks, they're willing to just throw the entire field of social science out the window. I mean, they don't. It's like, forget it. That's
to be fair, a lot of them happen to be anti-theists, so they tend to look down on the humanities to begin with.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. You can tell that they're not terribly well schooled in the humanities by the quality of the writing in their videos. They're just not.
It's interesting you mentioned
epistemology and ontology when it comes to falsifying theories and evidence and how do you conceptualize something and measure it in the social world. They just think material exists, non-material.
Not every one of us can be Scott Clifton.
And this is the explanation as to why I don't make videos, because I am too lazy to do the research that those of you who make the videos put into it.
Yeah. Oh, and David said in the chat they're looking for a notch on their belt. Yeah. I mean, and what you said earlier, Christy, it's views. It's the term that I have embraced, that I was introduced to a couple weeks ago, actually, by Cat Black, who made a really good video about this, is media troll. They're media trolls. They try to instigate conflict so that there will be a back and forth between two people with YouTube channels that they can profit from, that they can draw views from. And that's a big reason not to participate, not to just completely ignore them, because you're just feeding something that is to their benefit.
Instead of content.
Yeah,
they have fights.
Exactly. If my case, and the major reason why I have even mentioned feminism at all on my channel is because I feel that there's too much anti-feminist stuff floating around in the YouTube atheist community.
And to be fair, it's not like it's ever been a huge forefront of your channel.
No, and it still isn't. It still isn't. But if that's my case, that the anti-feminist, sexist guys are, that they're too loud, why would I want to help to amplify them? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. And when people say, oh, you should go debate so-and-so, you should go on so-and-so's channel, that's completely counter to my goal. I want people to pay less attention to them, not more.
And also, the debate format is also the worst way to convey information, because now you're just always behind the 8 ball of someone else.
Yeah. Well, and again, it goes back to what I said earlier about being informed. I mean, part of the duty of all parties going into a debate is to inform yourself on the issues before you start the debate. A debate is not a place to be educated. A debate is a place to defend a position that you have researched and that you have an opinion on and that you have a position on. And, if you're going to enter a debate on a topic and from previous content of this person that you've seen that they have no idea what they're talking about when it comes to the topic, like what is being served by the debate?
Well, a debate is a place where you can be. A debate is a place where you can be educated.
Sure.
But it's usually more for the benefit of the audience than it is for the participants.
Yeah.
Typically, the participants are going to be pretty fixed where they are. But I mean, this is a point that Dillahunty has made time and time and time again, and I think it's valid as hell. And I'll tell you, the one place where I really got a huge kick out of it was the 2009. Intelligence Squared debate, is the Catholic Church a force for good? Oh, you want to talk about a before and after. I mean, I love that debate. Woo.
Yeah, there was a huge shift. Yeah.
Brett, were you going to say something again? I think you started and stopped.
Yeah. I'm so down on energy after Christmas, I just can't overpower anyone. What the hell is this thing? Yeah, because here's the thing. You're saying these people start up shitstorms so that they can kind of build up views. The thing is you can just build up a shitstorm by just saying good things, saying, hey, we should be equal and treat people nicely, and that starts a shitstorm. Yeah. That's how you start them, Steve. Check your privilege.
I know. I say things that are, and this is like a broken record, but I say things that are completely middle of the road and mainstream and uncontroversial outside of a particular sphere, and it's like, you know, it's like kicking a hornet's nest.
It wouldn't just want an argument.
What the hell is wrong with treating people the way you'd be treated?
Yeah.
Well, on top of the anti-intellectualism, I had a video that just said, here's a journal on new feminisms in Europe. It's entirely free. You can go here and read articles. And I had a ton of people thumb it down.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
On what? Free academic research. You're thumbing down free academic research.
You're wanting us to use our brains. Don't you understand?
You care about this topic so much that you make dozens of videos about it, and yet you can't be bothered to do a small amount of free research into what people are actually saying in that.
But that requires, but that means I have to do something with time, and I could be
not just
response videos to feminists in that time.
Yeah. So yeah, but I mean, it doesn't bother me. It reflects poorly on the people that do it, and the people in their audiences who support it are probably not people I want to attract to my audience anyway. So it doesn't, like, it's no skin off my ass, and the more people who I pay absolutely no attention to struggle to get my attention. Like, I don't see how that makes me look all that bad.
Yeah, actually, that's exactly what I do with Bill Maher.
Is he always trying to? Is Bill Maher always trolling you, Cosmo?
Well, between him and Sam Harris, it certainly feels like he always has something to say to just royally piss me off.
He was talking to me with that, wasn't he? Yeah, I get that feeling sometimes. Like, oh God, like.
And it's just like I go in, like, my parents still watch him every so often. I'm thinking, oh shit, well, maybe he'll have something that isn't so terrible to say this time, and then he says something so racist, sexist, and stupid, and I'm like, God, why do I do this to myself every time?
That's my frustration with Mark too, because I mean, he's a really good comic, and he's a really smart guy. I mean, there's a lot about him that I really like, but I mean, then when he says something, that sort of goes off the rails, it's like, oh my God.
And then he blames his audience for not liking it.
Is he? Well, and I mean, he's never.
It's like, why aren't you guys laughing? Laugh, sheeple, laugh.
Yeah. It's not just. I mean, he's never quite walked back the anti-vax stuff that he said before. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that Mars said where it's like, wait, what did he say?
Yeah. Yeah. I guess if he wants to do the anti-vax stuff, I mean, right off the get-go, I haven't had a flu vaccine in umpty-ump bazillion years, but I have had my shingles, and after seeing what's happened with people with shingles, you bet. But I mean, the pig flu, the swine flu, I'd like to think my immune system's strong enough to do that. And if Mars going to get bent out of shape, I'll say, okay, edit. Okay, on to the next. What you got to say about Donald Trump? I'm fine. I can edit that, and what's the panic?
Yeah, put your fingers in your ears for certain parts.
Let's not even put my fingers in my ears. It's just, he's sort of on something that I really don't give a rotten dump about. So
he tries so hard to be like the mainstream intellectual of America. He tries so hard.
I don't see that at all. I don't see him trying to be mainstream in the slightest measure. He's putting himself out there one way or the other, and and honestly, I don't think he gives a rotten dump either, whether you agree with him or not.
No, I don't think he
likes that phrase "rotten dump," which
he's the guy. I think his shtick is that he wants to be that intellectual, that he wants to be the American Socrates. Everyone may hate him, but everyone knows he's the smartest guy in the room.
Yeah.
Well, either the American Socrates or the American, 21st century Mark Twain.
Well, I think until recently I would have said that was Colbert. But
Colbert is so good.
But I mean, that's not really the show that he does anymore. But I mean, when he was doing Colbert Report, I mean, nobody's Mark Twain, but if you have to pick one, I would have said Colbert. Anyway, I have to go. I have to drive to meet a friend and go see a Star Wars movie. So, thank you guys for joining me. Thank you for making it in after the holidays. It was great to see everybody. Thank you guys. Thank you, Cosmo. And thanks everybody for watching. As a reminder, this is just a little video that I do once a month with some of the patrons of my Patreon campaign. You can watch for free, but if you want to get in the room and participate in this awesome, fun conversation once a month, you have to be a Patreon patron. And if you like what I do on YouTube and you want to help me make more videos like I make, you can become a member of my Patreon campaign by going to patreon.com/Steve Shives. And thanks to all of you guys who have done that already, including especially you guys here in the room with me and everybody else. And I'll see you for this again next month. So Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year's. And wish Stephanie a good, happy viewing.
I will. I will. I'll say hi from all of you.
Please do.